So Shinobi Striker just released the newest newsletter, and with it they announced Season 9 DLC Pass, and this is actually going to be a DLC Pass where it's not going to be like, just individual DLCs you're paying for them. It's a whole pack where you're going to be getting characters, also you're going to be getting a collaboration, ultimate jutsu, and some other things as well. But the theme of this pass is villains, and that's where we run into a little bit of a question, because we are talking about Naruto, and my biggest question about this pack is, what do we actually consider a villain in Naruto?
Bring it on, AKATSUKI. You want to see what true resolve is? I'll show you.
And I know you might be wondering, like, of course, a villain is a villain, but a lot of the times in Naruto, they would flip these villains to the good side. So if we're talking about somebody like Itachi or even Sasuke, do you consider Sasuke really a villain, or Jugo, or truthfully any of the Takia members, considering where they're at now? Or are we only talking about people like Orochimaru, or maybe some, like even Obito? You know what I mean? When we're thinking about these villains, who do we actually consider a villain in Naruto, or are we talking about people that even flip over? And when we talk about some of the things that was in the newsletter, the first thing was the announcement of the DLC pack villains. And with this pack, you're going to be getting 4 characters. And I'm going to give you my predictions right now. My predictions for these 4 characters, I do think that they'll finish out the AKATSUKI, and they'll give us Kakuzu and also Hidan. I think they can do some interesting things with Kakuzu, and I'd be very interested to see how they find out to implement Hidan. I actually got myself a little concept that I have in my head, so I might actually release that in a video for y'all to give y'all a DLC concept. And if y'all say that y'all want to see Kakuzu in the comments and give enough support for it, I'll probably do that as well. The other 2 characters that I think we can get, I'm going to skip over Momoshiki. If you've watched these videos, you already know how I feel about Momoshiki. I feel like we've already gotten Baroshiki, so I'm not even going to say Momoshiki. I know some of y'all like him, but hey, you can let me know your reasonings for Momoshiki in the comments. My 2 other picks are going to be Koji Kashin, which is a little bit of a hot pick considering if they consider him an actual villain. And also, I think it's going to be another Kara member, with it maybe being Code, Baro, or Delta. But like I said, if you've seen the story going forward, it kind of just depends on what are we considering a villain. But I do think the Kara were a little bit too important to Boruto, and I do think they've been giving us a little bit more Boruto characters. So I do see at least 1 more Kara member coming, and I do think they can finish out the AKATSUKI. As far as the collaboration ultimate, the theme is still villains, but it's supposed to be an ultimate that 2 villains did together. And when we think about anime duos in Naruto, we think of like villain duos in Naruto. Some of the things that come to our mind, we might think of Jugo and Sasuke whenever they're part of the Taka, because they were fighting Killer Bee a little bit together. We also of course think of Hidan and Kakuzu, but I don't necessarily know if they did a collaboration move, maybe when they were fighting a little monk guy. And of course we do think of Momoshiki and Kinshiki, since they are pretty much together the whole time they were fighting, and sometimes Kinshiki would help power up Momoshiki, so that could be something. And we also think of Pain and Conan, because they were together and they basically grew up together, and we also saw them fight together versus Jiraiya. But I do think a sleeper pick that nobody's thinking about, that I think that can really bring a really good jutsu for a character that we'll probably never actually get a DLC of, is going to be the Gold and Silver brothers. That's right, Ginkaku and King Daku, the ones that actually fought Tenten on the beach. I do think they can make a good ultimate with these characters, and they do have some pretty good feats with them actually surviving versus a Tailed Beast, having Tailed Beast chakra, and actually being able to wield the Sage of 6 Paths tools. I think if they did jutsu from these characters, I think it'd be a very cool way to just throw in like a wild card that we weren't expecting. Some other things that we're getting from the newsletter, they also announced that we're going to be getting a new summoning animal from the 3-way deadlock, so that means this is more likely going to be coming from the older 3-way deadlock, which is going to be Orochimaru, Tsunade, and also Jiraiya. Since we already have a toad, I'd probably recommend that we're probably going to be getting a snake or a slug for the next summoning animal. And they also said they're going to be bringing back some of the SS Plus weapons with the SS Revival Festival, with also some new changes coming to these SS Plus weapons, mainly to the heavy attacks. They're going to make it where the Kurama Claw can move farther with the strong attack, and with the Totsuka Blade, you're going to be able to cancel out of your strong attack more often to go into other things. Of course, they talked about some more balanced things with secret techniques, and they're even doing a survey for secret techniques to try to get more of your feedback on that. So it seems like they really do want to focus on the ultimates. And of course they talked about more optimization stuff when it comes to cheating and stuff like that. And also, some of the data they got from the last update they did of making the crashes better and all that stuff. A lot of fluff that we've heard before, but we got to see the results. Let me know if the game has been running better for y'all in the comments. For me, I still get the crashes and stuff, so I'm kind of curious where the results and data is coming from. But one of the last things that they talked about that I do think is a pretty key thing is this part right here, where it says free matchmaking between Shinobis and also increased rewards for players. Free matchmaking for Shinobis can mean two things depending on how you're trying to interpret it. It could mean, of course, custom matches, which we've been asking for, but also a recent anime game just got this update, and it could mean crossplay. And I do think crossplay would be a very good thing for Shinobi Striker, considering the fact that the player base is still very healthy, and the game doesn't really show any sense of dying until the company decides to kill its game itself. And I do think crossplay would make things even better with bringing the communities from different consoles together and making things easier when it comes to doing tournaments and stuff like that. Truthfully speaking, if they could give us crossplay and also custom matchmaking, that'd be completely perfect for Shinobi Striker, and that alone right there adds another 6 months of longevity to the game just right there, because these are the things that we've been asking for. And of course, them making it easier for us to get scrolls, if that's what they plan on doing, that'd be very nice, especially when it comes to getting these SS plus weapons and things like that. I do think some of these SS plus weapons are very strong, and I think some of them are a lot stronger compared to the other SS plus weapons. So I do think a little bit of balance is needed there to make these SS plus weapons, all of them, worth it. They all should have some of these unique effects if we're getting, using these many scrolls to get them. But let me know in the comments how you actually felt about this dev letter. All right, I think it was a little bit of a light dev letter, but we do think they're going to be giving us another one next month, which maybe should give us some more details actually about this DLC pack. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what are your predictions for the DLC, and do you disagree with my predictions? I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, why are you still leaving out Momoshiki? But hey man, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, and let me know in the comments if you want those DLC concepts for Kakazu and also Hidan, man. And I hope y'all enjoyed this, but I'll see y'all on the next one. We up.